Welcome. So multiplication in Zmod MZ also works similarly to how you might guess. And similarly to addition. Okay. So if I have multiplication, and I still have this up here. So multiplication in ZM is similar to addition. Right, which is to say, so if I have, so if I have, I'm going to switch around my notation a little bit from last time. So if I have x and y that are both in ZM, right, or Z mod MZ, those are the same thing. There's just different notation for the same thing. Then I would get, so for this, I'm going to get, so how do I add these? So x bar plus y bar. Sorry. Now this is multiplication. This also would work with that. So I'm going to do multiplication with an x. So this is going to equal, and then we can go x times y and put the bar on at the end, just kind of like we did with addition. Okay, so let's look at an example, and then we'll do an entire multiplication chart. Okay, so if I want to take 2 times 3, so if I have 2 times 3, right, if I do the bars like this, right, oops, keep on wanting to put everything, that's also multiplication, but usually we want to use that notation there. Then this is going to equal 2 times 3. With the bar over the whole thing, right, which is 6 bar, right, which could be something else depending on what your circumstances. So this is 6 bar, right. And for example, in Z3, so in Z3 in particular, well, that's actually a funny one. I don't like. I wrote it, and then it turns out I don't like it. It's in my notes, and there's a reason I don't, because the reason being why I didn't want to use Z3 is then I wouldn't have written 3 there. Okay, so let's do Z4 instead. So in Z4, this would be, so we have 6 bar equals 2 bar. Right, that would be how we would want to write it. So that would actually equal 2 bar. Okay, so this whole thing would be the same thing as 2 bar, which is kind of cool. Okay. Great. So now, what's going on now, which is that let's actually do one of these charts. So here's going to be the table. So the multiplication table for and let's do this for Z3. Okay. And we will put, so I will, this time I feel like going 0 bar, 1 bar, 2 bar. Oh, that's all we need. 0 bar, 1 bar, 2 bar. And then this one's much smaller, right? So then we can, I feel like I got a little slicker at this since the last video. Okay, so now we have multiplication. So what happens? So we have 0 times 0. So this is going to give us 0 bar. And then 0 times 1, so that's 0. 0 times 2, so that's 0. Right? Same thing going down here. Multiply anything by 0, you get 0. What happens when you multiply by 1? So 1 times 1, so that's going to be 1. 1 times 2, so that's going to be 2. And we have 2 times 1, so that's 2. And here's the only tricky one, which is 2 times 2. So we want to write 4, but that's actually 1. Right? I want to put an extra line here and here so that you can see that those are what we're multiplying. Okay, and then, so what's happening with this particular one? Right, which is that I get 2 bar times 2 bar is going to equal 2 times 2 bar, which is going to equal 4 bar, which is equal to 1 bar. And how do we know this one? Which is that 4 minus 1 equals 3, and 3 divides 3. So 4 is 4 is congruent to 1 mod 3. Okay, so that's just how you do multiplication within Z mod MZ. Is really you just do it, and then you put a bar over the top, and if that isn't in the reduced form that you want, then you can use congruence mod whatever this is in order to figure out how you'd write it in the smallest. So one way you can think about it is keep on subtracting off copies of 3 until we get down low enough. If this is 3, if it's 4, you keep on subtracting off copies of 4 until you get down low enough. Okay, so I hope that made some sense, and I will see you in the next lecture.